So we sort of talked about the difference between geo and SEO, and obviously whether they should be combined or separate and stuff like that. So what should brands be focusing on as we move into 2026? And Matt, I'll come to you.
Yeah, I mean the very obvious one is realistically making sure you have the building blocks for effective GEO in place. So kind of looking at your, I'm still going to call it indexability, even though that's probably not the correct term, but can the LLMs find all of the information that you've got available? Are they able to kind of review it efficiently? Obviously, things like structuring content in the right way and providing kind of what they're looking for and kind of building your kind of entity relevance and all of that kind of stuff. I think some stuff that sits slightly away from that, so it's bits that people are really going to have to focus on this year, is things like conversion rate optimization, because you're definitely not going to be getting the same volume of traffic from certainly from Google, but also, as I've already said, you're not going to replace Google with Google traffic with traffic from an LLM. So you've got to be really focused on every time somebody comes to your website, you need to be making the most of that visit. So I think there's going to be a lot of people need to put a lot of work into their conversion rate optimization. And then the other thing really is authority building. So whether that's on your own site or kind of, again, what is old is new again, kind of digital PR, kind of that sort of approach, which again, to a certain extent, kind of went out of fashion to a certain extent, as that's going to become more important again, as kind of looking for those authority signals of being quoted regularly in other places. That's going to be important. So kind of anything that you can do to kind of become a data source, become a kind of have something that other people can't, whether that's some really good quotes from kind of knowledgeable people within your team, or whether that's kind of data or trends or those kinds of bits of information. So there's kind of definitely three things there. It's kind of the quality of the content, the technical aspects, and then the brand building and the kind of off-page authority. Oh, and fourth, CRA. So good luck with Shane for that. You've got some additional ones.
You covered a lot there, Matt. Shane, have you got any? I mean, any other angles that you think that I mean, brands should be focusing as we move forward into 2026 around this?
Yeah, no, I agree with those points. I think they're the kind of principal priorities. I think for most brands, the kind of first thing to do is just get started. Because I think this has been around for a good year or so now, in terms of almost mainstream adoption. And from what I can see, there's a lot of people kind of sitting on their hands, waiting to see where it goes, and they're really missing out on that early adopter advantage. Many of them are doing it because they don't know how. They might not have budget. They just kind of want to see where it goes. Just get started would be my advice. And then once you are started, obviously the areas that Matt covered off would be the priorities. I think the key one, the one that differs probably more than most from SEO, is the kind of content distribution. So it's not, I think with GEO, it's not enough to just have the content on your site and talk about things that you want to talk about on your site. There's much more emphasis on other websites talking about it as well. To give one specific example, we know that ChatGPT at least references Reddit, I think, at around 50% of its of prompt responses, which is a huge number. So I think there's a correlation there between having your brand mentioned on sites like Reddit and other community sites, which we don't quite see on the SEO side of things. So there are some key differentiators there, and I think that's one of the big ones for GEO.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan, carry on.
Yeah, carry on.
I was just going to say another kind of area that people have got to understand difference is the importance of kind of building topics as opposed to building standalone pieces of content as well. So kind of you can no longer just kind of have 15 different articles on 15 different topic areas on your site and hope that works. You really need to give that level of depth and understanding and kind of a really good pillar and cluster model, for example, over particular topic areas, because again, that's A, what your users are going to want, which is ultimately the most important thing, but B, it will help the LLMs kind of understand the topical authority that you have. So it's kind of having that additional content and context for them.
And I guess that becomes about building that authority with your brand, whether that's in B2B SaaS, whether that's cybersecurity, whatever it is, you want to be the authority within that area, and that content plays a part in it. Just creating it in the right way for both machines now and users, rather than what we always used to do is just make sure it's focus on users.